Good morning, everybody. The city of Oslo is the capital of Norway, and it's very, very far to the north. It's about 60 degrees north in latitude. They have just bought 183 new electric buses at a cost of 100 million euros. They did that in April. Now, the buses ran fine in the summer. But now it's winter, they've all stopped working and conked out. And the idea of Oslo being emissions free, well, actually, what's happened is that they are movement free because no one can get on a bus because they're not working. Now, the buses don't work in cold temperatures, but no one actually thought to check this before they spent £100 million on these new buses. So the temperature in Oslo is now in the winter minus 12 degrees Celsius on average. That's what it is day to day. And they just simply have stopped working. They have a range of about 250 kilometers, so I'm told, which is about 150 miles. But as the temperature gets colder, the range decreases because the batteries don't work so well. And there comes a point where they just stop working, which is what's happened. So now no one in Oslo can get on a bus to get anywhere. So what's happened is people have gone back into their cars or have gone back to relying on taxis, which use diesel and petrol, the ones that are left that use diesel and petrol, because it seems that a lot of people in Norway are just, gung-ho for this electric stuff, which doesn't work when the temperatures get cold. So it's absolute chaos there. And this is an incredible green fail. Not that it actually is green, because electric cars are marketed as being green, but of course the lithium cobalt batteries come from mines in Congo, which rely on child slave labor, and they rip up the rainforest in Africa to mine those minerals in order to make these huge, big, heavy electric batteries, which then don't work in the cold weather. But no one tells you that. No one mentions that in the nice marketing videos where you see these nice spanking new cars and buses and whatever. They'll probably be marketing electric planes next. Some people are actually talking about this, but really, if you go up, you go up into any altitude, it's going to be colder than Oslo on the surface in the winter. So that's not going to work. Electric batteries there. I mean, this just really is a moment to just take, step back, take stock, and look at the madness of the situation. You've got governments all around the world who have signed up to this Paris Climate Agreement. They're pushing electric vehicles. They're banning diesel and petrol cars in the near future. In the UK here, the fake Conservative government say they're going to ban sales of new petrol and diesel cars from 2035. That's not long away. What are they going to do? Are they going to rip out the infrastructure to actually refuel your cars with petrol and diesel so that everyone has to have an electric vehicle? And electric vehicles, cars maybe can work in warm temperatures in places where you don't need to travel that far. But if you want to go on a long journey, from one end of the country to the other, you got to stop for hours to charge your electric vehicle mid-journey, which makes your journey a lot longer than it would otherwise be. Look, this should be left to the free market. If people want a petrol vehicle, they can buy a petrol vehicle and use one. If you want a diesel vehicle, buy a diesel vehicle. If you want an electric vehicle, buy an electric vehicle. And, you then have to wait for it to charge up. Whereas a petrol and diesel vehicle, you can fill it up in a couple of minutes and drive away, like we have done for the last 100 years or so. It's absolutely insane that the governments are trying to interfere with the free markets and get everybody to buy electric vehicles by suppressing the ability to buy petrol or diesel. And then you have local governments, local councils, local authorities, national authorities, whoever's in charge of public transport, doing this stupid thing like they've done in Oslo and converting their entire bus fleet to electric vehicles and not checking if they run in the cold weather. Now, that's not so much a problem you might have if you live in warmer countries, but there's a whole band of Northern Europe where sometimes it gets that cold. Cities like Hamburg, Berlin, Warsaw, Copenhagen, whatever, Edinburgh, it gets down to those temperatures on occasion. Obviously, in North America, it gets colder further south because you don't have the jet stream to warm you up. So, cities like Toronto, Boston, Vancouver, wherever, it gets very cold in the winter. Even New York, sometimes it gets down to those temperatures. So if they decided to do the same thing and go to electric vehicles, they might conk out. And I believe that did actually happen at one time in the city of Edmonton in Alberta in Canada, which is sort of, quite far north for a city in North America. So, let's just be sensible about these things and not rush to change our vehicles for something that doesn't work because we're beholden to this nonsense of climate alarmism that says that we have to change everything because some people believe that carbon dioxide is a harmful gas when it isn't. Carbon dioxide is a natural gas that exists at the moment at 420 parts per million, which is lower than it has been at lots of times in the Earth's history. Carbon dioxide levels have been much higher at times, and in greenhouses they are much higher as well. People artificially increase the level of carbon dioxide in greenhouses so that plants grow quicker. Plants love carbon dioxide, so going up to 500, 600, 700 parts per million of carbon dioxide is not going to be harmful at all. And of course, it's debatable whether this is being caused by human activity or whether it's something that actually is preceded by warming and then carbon dioxide is released from the oceans, which is a big carbon dioxide sink. So people are debating this at the moment. So I think everybody needs to be open to research and hypotheses about these things. But certainly going to electric vehicles and all the damage that they do to rainforests and all of the social problems created by child slave labor is something that we should actively be avoiding and not jumping into. So this is just an example of a big green fail. And I support people continuing to use carbon-based fuels, which you actually need for heavier vehicles like buses, like lorries, like tractors. They really don't work very well if they have electric batteries. You need diesel for bigger vehicles because it gives you a greater fuel intensity for them to be able to drive with a higher weight in the vehicle. So that's just common sense. And I think the people in Oslo that made this decision have taken leave of their common sense. Hopefully this bash around the head by the actual climate, which actually is cold, is very cold in the north, will make people return to a bit of common sense. So there you go. It's a lesson for us all. Let's abandon the stupidity of climate alarmism. Thanks for listening, everyone. God bless you all.